Here at the Level Up Co., Kelly and I truly do believe that an elevated client experience from the very first touch point of that first email all the way through the delivery of your wedding films or those final galleries are all so important. And that's why Kelly and I both have been using and loving VidFlow for the last several years, and we recommend to all of our students and our audience members to use VidFlow as well. Delivery experience truly matters. The way your clients view their films for the very first time should be a magical moment. It needs to be a professional and branded experience, instead of basic file sharing like Dropbox or Google Drive, or even Vimeo or YouTube links. Through VidFlow, clients can stream their videos through smart TVs, streaming devices, and setup boxes. Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, you name it. There are so many options for clients to watch and experience their films for the very first time on the big screen at home. And VidFlow is now offering photo delivery as well. They now support photo delivery with their new hybrid galleries, which is a major benefit for hybrid shooters and combined photo and video teams. You can now deliver your beautiful photo galleries alongside your video galleries in one place. Level up your delivery experience for 2026 and beyond with VidFlow. You can get started today by going to vidflow.co/thelevelupco. This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich.
And I'm Kelly Gilster of 618 Studios.
And we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here.
Hey friends, and welcome to another episode of the Level Up Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Petrinovich, and I am here with Gayla, who we're having an amazing conversation today all about numbers, finances, and bookkeeping. So Gayla, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So for those who are listening who have never heard of you, can you just introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Gayla McCray. I am the owner and founder of Two Arrows. We are a financial strategy firm. We focus on everything from bookkeeping to the advisory and the strategizing that comes along with setting goals, not just for today, but also tomorrow and wherever you're headed. And we also do the liaising with the CPAs and the tax preparing professionals that you're working with.
I love it. That's so fun. And so we are recording this here at Hybrid Co., which is a conference for wedding photographers and filmmakers. And are you finding that this is a service that a lot of photographers are lacking in their businesses and maybe needing to implement?
I think that sometimes we, as business owners in any field, feel like we're siloed and going at it alone. And just like a photographer would ask for a second shooter to come in and help them get the job done, I think sometimes we need that reminder that there's other professionals out there that are willing to help you and have expertise that you don't have. So it's nice when I'm able to speak with people and sort of encourage them that you're not in this alone and you're leading and guiding this business. And there are a ton of people that are here and want to support you.
I love that. I couldn't agree more. I think that especially in the wedding industry, like in the service-based businesses, we feel like we have to wear every single hat there is as a business owner. But if you think about other industries like restaurants, for example, like the restaurant owner doesn't feel like they need to be the one cooking the meals, bussing the tables, playing host and being a server. Like they're hiring out people to fulfill those roles. And I love that you're able to step in and help guide the financial side of businesses.
Yes. I think of myself sort of like a financial friend that you can ask the questions to. And like with the level of vulnerability that comes with talking about numbers, you want somebody that you can know, like, and trust. And I like to lead with, yes, we are humans first. And how are you? What's going on in your day, your world, your life? And where are you trying to go so that we can make sure that the numbers are a tool that you can use and they're supporting whatever your particular situation is.
Ooh, okay. Can you talk more about what you just said, like making sure the numbers are a tool?
So it's like the alignment. I think of money as a resource, just like there's other resources out there. Like time is one that we don't get back, but money is one of those resources that's renewable. When you think about what you're doing in business, whether you are signing up for a wedding or you're selling an album to the happy couple while they're still in that blissful bubble, all of that has a resource tied to it, which is the money. And it's something that's renewable. what I've seen in my business and some of the photography clients that I've worked with is they may start when the children are young and they're doing the thing, and then the children have graduated, they're still doing the thing, and maybe one day they want to pivot. Maybe they don't want to be the ones that are still doing the weddings and the long days. Maybe they want to start selling the prints or having brick and mortar studio where they're teaching other photographers how to do the thing. And when you're having the conversation about these are my goals and this is what I want to do, then we can make strategy around helping you get there. If it's that you want to slow down or speed up, having someone that can support you and partner with you and sort of take those ideations and ground them into something that's realistic and tangible. I love to help people do that.
That's so cool. So, what I just kind of heard you say a little bit is when people are thinking about maybe not exiting the industry, but like pivoting out of weddings, because I mean, let's be real, like it can take a toll on your body shooting weddings. They're long days on your feet, heavy equipment, and doing that year in and year out, spending all of your weekends doing that, like they're for most people, like they do hit a period where it doesn't feel sustainable anymore. Do you find that a lot of your clients are really thinking about like future planning, like for their careers, how they may exit weddings and like what they should do next?
I think that sometimes we think about what we want to be when we grow up and what we want to do. And then in life, it takes a pivot, a turn. We pause. There's the seasons that come. For me personally, in my business, I started in 2018, right before having my last baby. And then my first clients were me and my 3 month old, and we were doing our thing together. Well, all these years later, the kids are in school. They don't need me. They're like, "Mom, I got it. Just show up to my stuff."
Yeah.
So, the seasons change and what we're looking at and how I want to interact with them is changing. So, I want to make sure that my business and my client's business supports the life that they're living and not just adds friction or is a box checked, right?
Yeah.
So, some people understand and realize, and some people have trouble articulating. But once we have the conversation, it becomes more clear. And then some of us are just visionaries. It's like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I want to do all the things. And that's great too. But sometimes you need the help and support to make sure that happens.
Yeah. Actually, we haven't gotten into your background yet. Like, how did you even get into this world of the financial strategy, bookkeeping, all of that?
So I my first big girl job was in the Air Force. I served in the Air Force in the healthcare field for 8 years, and I got my degree in healthcare administration. So once I finished that, I got married, had the kids, did the thing, and I was itching to get back out the house. I stayed home with my first child for a year's time.
Hmm.
Then I wanted to, get back into it, stop talking about all the kitty things and have an adult conversation and really get back to professional life. So I started nonprofit, working there, doing the things, running everything behind the scenes for a medical professional nonprofit. And then from there, I knew that I wanted to come away from the busy city and come back to my roots. I'm from the South. So coming back to raise Southern little gentleman or gentleman at that point in time. And I was running a dental practice in Texas, and I asked the dentist, the person who I was there to support, I was like, "What do you want to do? What's your goals?" And he worked for this huge corporation, and he said, "Nobody's ever asked me what I wanted to do." And that stuck with me, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward a little bit, we're profitable, we're doing all the things, and my last child is coming into the world. And I sat down with my dentist and I said, "You're doing a great job. And remember the reasons why you got into this in the first place. So, as you hear all the noise and distraction about what's going on in the industry, what corporation wants to do, remember why you got started and when enough is enough for you." And then I had my baby the next morning.
Wow.
So after having my last son, I took some time for maternity leave and I had to make the decision as to whether I wanted to go back and baby this practice for this corporation or if I wanted to serve more people like the doctor that I was supporting who sort of was getting lost in the corporate language of it all. I wanted more autonomy over who I helped and how I helped them. So I took the leap and jumped into the entrepreneurial world.
Hey listeners, Kelly here. Taylor and I are so excited to be bringing a brand new free training to our listeners and entire audience. It is called Booking the Next Generation of Couples, and it's all geared towards what we're seeing in real time with the buying psychology and behaviors of Gen Z brides and grooms who are getting married this year, next year, and for the years to come. We want to ensure that you're not making the mistakes of marketing to yesterday's couple and that you're setting yourself up for success over the next decade to be able to speak to really confidently, book, and be able to serve this next generation of clients really, really well. As photographers and filmmakers, it's so important that we continue to evolve in our business, and we are really excited that on July 29th, we're going to be opening up this new class. We'll be teaching live for 1 hour and teaching what we are seeing currently in the market and what you can do to change and fix your business for a really profitable 2027. Taylor and I hope to see you there. You can head over to thelevelupco.com/Gen Z to register, and we look forward to seeing you on July 29th.
I love it. That's so fun. Did you have any background in finance specifically? Like, does that translate over from your degree in the healthcare administration?
So the thing about healthcare is you're selling something that people need. And sometimes people have hiccups about selling something that is needed. And I like to reframe that conversation more about you're serving people in a capacity that they need. And in order for it to be sustainable, it costs money, right?
Yeah.
So the same lovely doctor that I worked with, he always wanted to discount everything for clergy members. He was like, they're doing this great work and I want them to have everything for free. And then I show him the numbers of the situation. It's like, this is what it costs for us to keep the lights on in this building. This is what it costs to pay the staff that we're working with. And this is what it costs for all the materials that help you do what you do, plus insurance and all of that.
Yeah.
So, in order for us to keep on helping these people that we know that we want to help, it comes at a cost and we have to make sure that's covered. So money is the foundation and the tool that sort of helps us do all the things that we want to do. So it's always been in place. And I've always had an eye and a mind for numbers. And when I helped people in government, in corporate, in nonprofit, we always found a way to be profitable. So those are the kind of things that I bring to the small business and creative world to help them go out, do their thing, the skills and ability that only they can do, and make sure that they're able to do it for as long as they want to.
I love it. So, in that instance, with a doctor wanting to provide discounts or even free services for a group of people who he had a heart for, that's like a very emotional way to approach business decisions. Are you finding that that's the case for a lot of small business owners? Like, we're approaching it out of emotion instead of like logic and numbers?
Yes, we have the dreams and there's the shiny new thing and whatever's trending and whatever's going on in the world around us. Sometimes it has an influence on us, and that's fine. Sometimes it's for the best, and sometimes it's a distraction. So when I'm having a conversation, like, this is what I tell my husband, like, we have kids, we have a blended family, we have older girls, and then we have younger kids that are still in the house. And I'm like, whatever's going on and whatever the situation is with any of the kids, let's make a decision about how we're going to react to this before it's a sob story or before it's so exciting and I need it right now. So I think about the same thing when I'm working with business owners. It's like, what do you want to do? So when we're in the busy season or when we're in the slow seasons, we can have that reminder of, okay, this is what our goal was anyway. This is
Yeah.
why we were doing this anyway. This is why you set this aside so that you would be prepared for A, B, and C.
Do you have any tips for people to have that like constant reminder of that why or that initial reason that they got started or what that initial goal was? And I have a follow-up question. Maybe you can speak to this too. So I are you familiar with like the Enneagram?
Mhm.
Right. I'm an Enneagram 3, which is the achiever. And I feel like for people like me, and I think this is true probably for a lot of business owners, like the goalpost is always moving and we're always aiming for bigger and better. So like, I don't know. I always love your thoughts on those things.
So, what was the first question?
For people who may have, I call it squirrel brain,
Mhm, mhm. I have that too, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. I think we all do to an extent. How would you suggest people reminding themselves of what that initial why or goal was in the first place to make sure they're making those smart decisions?
So, write it down, like the mission, the vision of your company, and it may change over time. It may change with maturity and as your experience grows, but write it down, revisit it, and know why you got started in the first place. Remember why you got started in the first place. And what I find, it's usually not the goal or mission that has changed, but with the skills and ability, you want to help more people or you want to do it in a more efficient way. And in the details or the distraction of that, like we forget why we got started. So, when we look outside of ourselves to what's going on in the industry or what we're seeing on social media, it may be some of that. I want to do it like them, but what we bring to the table is unique and it's something that only we can do. So let them be them and you be you. And remember the things that make you unique and special and why you're doing it too.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, they do say comparison is the thief of joy, and it's really hard not to compare. Comparison is a theme that a lot of photographers and filmmakers talk about because we're in such a visual field, and social media is such a visual thing that we're consuming, and so it's really hard not to compare not only our work, but, like, maybe the optics of success or, like, the illusion of success sometimes, and it can be hard to not fall down rabbit holes or chase other people's dreams because we feel like that's what we're supposed to be doing. Um, no, I think it's great. Like, our whole mission at the Level Up Co. is to help photographers and filmmakers scale their businesses from mainstream to luxury so that we can charge more and work less so that we can have more time to live a balanced life while making a great living for our families and like have a sustainable business because I think that you can only shoot so many seasons of 40 to 50 weddings a year before you burn out and we were aiming for longevity, right? And maximizing our lives. And so we walk a lot of our students through like figuring out what that why is. Like we talk a lot about like money is great and like a number is great, but like what is the impact that that money actually has on your life? And it's incredible hearing from our students and like what they're aiming for. Like we have people who want to like retire their spouse or like put their kids through private school or like be a financial help to their like aging parents. And like that money is actually being put to work in very tangible and real ways. It's not just like imaginary numbers in a bank account. And I think once you remember that and imagine like my success equals like this impact on not only my life, but like those who I love's lives, like it becomes easier to stay motivated, at least for me.
Right. And when you have the things that you're working for, I believe that what we're doing in business is an extension of our personal lives. So, understanding what you're doing at home, why you're in business, what you are contributing. Some of us are contributing fully to our personal lives. Some of us are supplementing, and some of us are in it for the mad money, right? We want all the things. So, nothing is wrong with any of those. All of them are fine. But understanding what numbers you're trying to bring out of it for yourself helps you price appropriately and helps you know when you can pump the brakes or when you need to go full speed ahead.
I love that. Okay. So we tend to attract two types of people. We have the artists
Mhm.
who are just true artists through and through. Business can be a little bit of a struggle. They're still learning the ropes on that stuff. But then we also attract a lot of, like, I myself, I'm more business minded. That just happens to have an artistic skill that I'm using. Um, for those who are maybe more artist minded, where the business is not second nature to them, like, how can they diagnose their, like, financial health in their business?
First of all, I think that we need to look at the numbers. Sometimes it's like, I'll worry about that tomorrow. And when does tomorrow actually get there, right?
Yeah.
So look at the numbers, see what's going on, get familiar with them. When you do that constantly, not constantly, but consistently, you get more comfortable with the numbers.
What number should they be looking at?
All of them. So like how much are you bringing in? And I sort of look at the numbers, your income, your revenue, your expenses, the cost to produce whatever it is you're doing, or the service that you're providing, all of those numbers matter. And I think of it almost like a closet. So you have your shirts, your pants, your shoes, your hats, and they all have a particular place. Some of us put them all on that chair in the bedroom, and some of us hang them up in the closet. Like we're here at this conference, and one of the things that I do, maybe not everybody, but I take my clothes out of the suitcase and I put them in the
Yeah,
drawers,
me too.
right?
Yep, yep.
So when it comes to the money, you think about it the same way. The money's coming in. Is everything going into a sales bucket? I just made X amount of dollars. Or is it that I made X amount of dollars doing A, B, and C? When we're looking at the money and what we're doing, sometimes emotionally we think, I spent all of this time doing this, so it must be what made me the most money. But then when you go and look at the numbers, they tell you a different story. So I say, look at the numbers consistently. So we're not led by the emotion of what we're feeling.
Okay, so for consistently, like I'm like a I need to be told exactly what to do. Is this like every day, every week, like once a month? Like what would you recommend if someone's like, I really want to take like the financial side of my business seriously this year?
I would start with, I won't say start, but for some people really want to look at their numbers every day. And for some people, that might drive them crazy. But a weekly rhythm where you know what happened, you know what receipts you have and what you were spending money on, and having a longer check in on a monthly basis. So, this is what happened this month. With photography in particular, you have the deposits that you're taking in from your clients. You want to make sure that you're setting that aside for the job when it comes up and not just spending it on complete operations. And if you are, that's okay. Maybe you can start in 2026 doing it a little bit differently, making sure that you are pricing to operate and for the projects. And by the time you get to the project that you took the money for all those months prior, you still have the money to do those projects.
Hey, friends, really quickly, I'm going to interrupt this podcast episode because I just want to say we are so grateful to have you as listeners. Heading into our 2026 wedding season and into 2027 next year, we just know that so much is on the horizon for you. Because you're listening to this podcast, that means you are a really ambitious photographer or filmmaker, or maybe a content creator in the wedding industry who has sights set on the next level of business. The Luxury Mastermind program, which is our signature program here at the Level Up Co., is going to help you do just that. We have helped hundreds wedding filmmakers and photographers elevate their businesses into that next level. A great example of this is Skylar Ball, who is a wedding filmmaker based in Tennessee, who was charging $3,500 per wedding when he joined our program, and now 18 months later, he's consistently booking at $12,000. We've had other students book their first five-figure wedding during our program, and we've had many students be able to double and triple their prices, which sounds crazy, but it's actually true, and we are so proud of them. If you are ready to see growth like that, if you're ready to get to that next level in business, book out your calendar year with weddings at a price point that you feel so proud of, and with weddings that are artistically fulfilling for you and that are just so fun to capture, we would love to welcome you inside our next round of the Luxury Mastermind. We are currently pre-enrolling seats before we officially launch, and students who pre-enroll get a bonus one-on-one coaching call with Kelly or myself, which is something we absolutely do for our students as a little thank you for signing up early. You can go to thelevelupco.com/mastermind to learn more about the program, see what's inside, and to pre-enroll. That should be linked in the description box down below if you're watching on YouTube, or linked in the description if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Kelly and I are so excited for our next cohort of the Luxury Mastermind, and we hope to see you in there so that we can guide you to that next level of business and beyond. In your opinion, what would be like a good goal for a net revenue number? Like if somebody brings in, let's just say $100,000 gross, what would be like, you're running your business pretty well and like lean when it comes to like net. And for those who are listening who like you're not a numbers person, like gross revenue is like all the money that you're bringing into your business, and net is what's left over after your expenses. And then there's taxes, but we could talk about net.
Two thought processes that I have about this is like, are you in a growing phase? Are you trying to open up the funnel and get more people in? Or are you in a nurturing phase where you're trying to continue the relationship that you already have with some of the people who are already familiar with your business. Those are two different numbers. When you're growing, it tends to cost a little bit more than when you're nurturing. You already have that relationship, they're already familiar with you. So you're spending less money on keeping that relationship going. The nuance with business is that it's different for each and every person. Some people are trying to shoestring and they want to do everything themselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. You may have more net in the situation, and some people may be like, I don't want to do that. I want all the help and I want all the resources, and that's okay too. So the comparison between what you're doing in your business and what the next person is doing in their business is not where I would start this, but I would look at the numbers and I would try to see. I have a goal. I know what I need personally to come out of this, and I know what it takes to keep the lights on in my business. And I want to make sure that I'm bringing in more than that, and I'm netting more than that, so that there's something for tomorrow.
I love that. So this is the way you can tell me if I do this right or wrong. I would love to know. So this is the way I do it. So my starting rate for videography is $13,500. I know that it costs me $100 an hour minimum for a second shooter. Let's just assume it's a 10-hour day. So I'm like, okay, that's $1,000. And then I pay $1,500 for an editor. So that 13.5 now is down to 11,000. So actually, when I'm like looking at how much I want to take home pre-tax, I'm actually taking that reduced amount because I'm factoring in my expenses already, and I'm setting my booking goal based on that, where I think a lot of people get it's almost like sticker shocked sometimes, where they feel like they brought in all this money and they set their goal correctly when they weren't realizing like how much it costs, especially if you're doing destination stuff and you're factoring travel or multiple team members or whatever. So, but this is like kind of like my bare minimum of what it takes like operationally. And so that's what I do. And so like I know I want to walk away with this amount of money every year. And so I'm doing the math with like my expenses built in.
Yes. That's wise. So my pricing equation looks a little bit different than what you'll see everywhere. So I think about the price. Then you have your equal sign. You have the cost to produce or serve the client. You have your operating plus your operating costs. Your operating costs are all the behind the scenes things that have nothing to do with that project or
Yeah.
service that you're having.
This is subscriptions, annual
Mm-hmm.
things,
Mm-hmm.
gear. Yes,
Yeah.
everything not directly related to that job.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you have another plus sign and what you want to bring home at the end of the day, the money that you're paying yourself.
Mhm.
And if you're not paying yourself right now, let's start. Even if it's just $100 from every job, whatever it is, start somewhere and you can build from there, build that muscle in there. The next piece is taxes. I tie that into the money that you're bringing home. Some people shy away from taxes or think of it as something bad, but if you're not paying taxes, that means you're not making money. So it's something that we want to be there. We just want to have a plan and strategy around it. And then that last plus sign that I have before I wrap up this equation is the reserve. What do I want to be here to reinvest back into the business, to serve as emergency funds before whatever thing that's happening in current events happens? I want that money there. So if I need to float or have runway for a month or two or three, or if I just want to take off, I know that it's there. And that's how I make my equation of what my pricing should be.
I love that. Yeah, that's what I do. I mean, we're like very transparent on the podcast. So my number, I keep $10,000 in my business savings account because in my mind, I'm like, I just want to cover worst case scenario. Like if I'm at a wedding and I get pushed in a lake with like my main camera rig and like my lenses and all that stuff, like how much would it cost to replace the worst case scenario? Or this has happened before. My laptop has fallen into a full bathtub and technology and water doesn't mix clearly. And so like replacing that. So I'm just like, what's like the worst thing that could happen and what would I need to like literally buy tomorrow again, like repurchase if that were to happen, and I want to make sure I'm covered. And then unexpected things in the wedding industry, like a lot of things can happen last minute, like we call them opportunities, but we may get invited to shoot something last minute and like we may have to like float our own travel costs or whatever. So just like yeah, keeping that like nest egg is so important, and that number looks different for everyone. I feel like I feel pretty settled at my 10,000, but I think there's probably a vast like array of what that could look like for other people. I'm hearing a lot of things that are echoed in the book Profit First. Do you like that book and like the teachings, or have you read it?
I have read it. I am familiar with the practice. I think some things align, and then, like everything, we have to take what we need from there and apply it to what we have going on personally.
Yeah.
So, yes, there's some good information in there, and I think that sometimes when we're running our own businesses, the equity that we put into it, we don't always bring the price to that and pay ourselves for that. Um, we have our own businesses, we're doing our things, we're leading the way, and there's a cost to be that leader. And then there's also the cost when you are behind the camera and doing the thing and doing what I sometimes call the worker bee things. So at least being familiar and identifying and being intentional about when you have your CEO hat on and when you have your worker bee hat, something that you could pass on to someone if you plan to scale in that way, knowing the difference in those numbers and being able to account for that. And then since this is a very transparent place, I'm going to share some of my personal story. In 2024, I lost my mom suddenly. And in that, I needed to take off from work right away and spend some time grieving. And what saved my business in that time were the systems that I had in place and the support that I had in place, that I could pick up the phone and let someone know this is the situation, this is what's going on, and I'm going to be away for a little bit of time.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you for saying that. But like, there's the seasons in business that are happy and joyous and fun. There are the learning curves that we encounter and grow through. And when it comes time to pivot, we want to be prepared for the pivot and not reacting to the pivot.
So good. Yeah. It's so much to think about. I mean, we work in weddings, we do art. It is so like glitz and glam and like fun and sunshine and rainbows. And it's really important to remember that it's not all that. And if you're not preparing, like, isn't that a saying? Like, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. And I think that's definitely true. Um, this is so great, Gayla. I'm loving this episode. We don't have a lot of opportunities to talk to people outside of the industry who do what you do. So before we go, do you have a last couple thoughts maybe that you think it's important for the listeners to hear when it comes to the financial success of business or anything related to that?
You're doing the thing, and remember that you're doing something that everybody doesn't do. If it were easier to do, then there would be even more saturation. But you're here for a reason. You have a gift, and there's someone out there that is looking for you and what you have to offer. So don't forget that. When times get tough, take a step back, look at things, remember why you're doing what you're doing, and remember that money is a renewable resource and it's figure outable how to pivot and continue on if that's what you want to do.
I love it. So good. If somebody's listening and they would like to find you, where can they do that?
I'm online at twoarrows.co. That's where you can find my website. You can find me on Instagram at twoarrows.co. And I'm here to help if that's a good fit for you.
Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.